What's good, fam? Welcome to Subs Over Dubs anime review of Vinland Saga, episode 6. I'm Vision,
And I'm Rebel.
and let's get into the episode. So, what we thought was going to happen came to life. Farmland Saga continues, right?
Not only Farmland, it's time skip Saga, bro.
Hey,
They've been through like 6 time skips in the matter of like 30 episodes.
has it been that many? I feel like maybe 2.
You have when he was a kid to teenager.
Oh, you talking about in the series?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh,
30.
you said one episode. So
I said in 30 episodes.
Oh,
Because it was like, what, 24 and we're on episode 6. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's 30 episodes, bro. We had 3
when
time
he was a
skips.
toddler to teenage, I would say like 4.
Still, bro.
Hey man, we listen.
Deku hasn't even got a time skip yet, bro. And this man had 4. He's 40. That's it. His life's almost over.
I wonder how old he is in this time skip.
That's one thing that I didn't like that they didn't tell us. It was just like
They
a
didn't give us a date or anything.
Yeah.
We probably have to look it up. It's probably they probably give some type of dates in the
Later
future that will kind of let you do the math. I would say okay. Obviously, he's like under 10. I would say
in the beginning, right? So let's say he was like 8 to 10.
And when he was, walking around with the bandits, he was probably 11, 10, By the
Mm-hmm.
time he started killing people, I'd probably say he's at earliest 13.
I'd say more like 14, 15.
Okay.
Because what's his name? Actually had aged quite a bit. It had been like 5 to 8 years since he had killed
Thor.
Yeah.
So 4 to 15 in the mid. Then you kind of ended that season going into this season. I would say if he was above 20s, it was super early 20s.
I would say like between 18 to 20. That's what I was
18,
thinking.
20, 18, 21. That's what I would say too. And seeing him now, I would imagine it's only been about 5.
5 years.
Yeah. So he's mid. If they skip past and he's 30 already, there's no way.
That's what I was thinking. He looks 30, and that's where I'm like, if you chalk it up and tell me he's 25, I'll be like, okay, whatever. But don't make him look like that. And then he's 30, it's not gonna be a good look.
I don't think he's 30. It's just we feel that way because he looks a lot different from. Because like when you look at him when he was younger, so when we were like in in the beginning of the season, he looked like Thor the Fiend but older. Now
Yeah.
he looks like someone different. And I guess everyone goes through that phase, right? We look similar to what we did, but we definitely look.
It's just weird, like the amount of time skips we're having is just, and then they're not giving us like timestamps for the first couple, yeah, but like
recent.
these last 2 we didn't. You're like guesstimating, so it's weird. If he's in his 30s, it's gonna be an L. But if they play it off to where like, oh, he's only like 23, 24, 20, all right, like let's have 5 more years of whatever we're doing. But I went from like whelmed to like now it's just becoming underwhelming. Like especially this last episode, it's
I think
more
it's a build-up.
Farmland. It better be something crazy. I better see a Titan running out from the dam. Like it just has to pivot at some point. And
I think
when you're 6 episodes in, it hasn't. It's just kind of discouraging, I guess you could say.
I think what we're looking at though, just watching the series, we're looking at the parallels. You know what I'm saying? This is more quote unquote real life than it is, some of the other animes we watch.
Sure.
So we're seeing the natural progression of someone who was, killing many people at, before he's probably been, and I think up to this point he hasn't been with a woman yet. So he's killed more men than experienced life. So now we're getting into the other sector where he's experiencing life as far as like just
When they're talking about like you never farmed, you don't know what farming is.
all he's known was
to
killing.
kill.
Yeah.
I mean that's cool, but like chop it up, put it to 3 episodes, make it 3 episodes.
He can't grow as a person. He has to.
He
to be a
can, but like
mindless
you
killing
have to
machine.
understand, and maybe it's different from me. It actually should be worse for y'all. I finished season 1. Literally a week later, season 2 comes out, so I didn't have to wait, and I'm underwhelmed. Just imagine the people who waited a year for this.
I think maybe
And you have expectations in your head where you're like, man, this is gonna be dope. Like we're gonna get more fights. We're gonna get more of this.
I feel as though
I've been sleeping through it.
because I've waited. It's been about 2 years, I think. Um, maybe even longer. I want to say maybe.
Let me look it up. I'll
I
validate
want to
for
say
you.
2000, around when I was living in that apartment. I was watching it
Really?
because I remember my roommate telling me that we both know told me about. He's the one who told me to watch it.
Sheesh. The
Well,
first episode of Vinland Saga came out in 2019,
2019.
July 8th.
So that
What is? Did it aired at the beginning of this year or at the end of last year?
Vinland Saga.
Mm-hmm. It just started, right? Like in
Yeah, it
January?
started, yeah.
So then 19, 20, what? 4 years. That's wild. Y'all waited 4 years? Well, if you think about it, 24 episodes, July 19, probably ended in 2020.
Yeah.
So then you only waited really, well, basically 2.5 years for season 2. That's wild. I
Yeah.
didn't watch it for that long. I thought it had only been 1 year where I was like, oh, I heard about that last year and I
I
watched
told
it.
you when it came.
That's
Because
wild.
I remember when I watched it, I was working at the hardware store, so that's how
Oh.
I kind of remember situationally what was going on. Because where was I?
So
Yeah,
I
that
wonder,
was-
I
that
wonder if it was COVID that pushed it back so far. Then, because it was popular when it came out, right?
Vinland.
Vinland
Yeah,
was
I
so.
mean,
So I'm wondering
the
if,
whole-
like, because it ended in 2020, midst of
I
like
think
pandemic.
COVID probably pushed the production back, just like it did a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
But because I think I'm trying to remember what I was about to say. Actually, Jesus. It was at the end of the day. For me, just based on your like thing, I think it's the fact that you came off immediately and went into next season. That's why you feel because you're like already kind of hyped. You know
Yeah.
what's happened. Versus for me, for the break, I know something's coming. Pause,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't need
You're
it to
letting it
happen.
build because you've waited so long, and I get that. But this is how I felt about Attack on Titan, and that's why. So Attack on Titan season 1 comes out like just swinging, and then you wait 2 or 3 years, and then you're like, so you have those expectations to get a build up season, and I'm like, bro,
There's a
I know the next
lot of-
season, season 3. Everyone tells me Attack on Titan season 3 probably one of the best seasons out there in anime in general, but it's just so tough for me to be like, man, like season 1 is really good, season 2 is just like I have to keep rewinding because I'm like, what did I miss? More information, more of this, and that's how I'm feeling. And maybe it was my fault because I let all of Attack on Titan finish and then try to binge it like I normally do, when I guess those seasons where they build up should be like this, where if we're watching it week by week, it's not, we're gonna muscle through it,
Yeah.
and then season 3 comes and then we can binge those. So maybe that was my fault and being inexperienced. So that's why I always say I'll rewatch Attack on Titan, but that's where I think I messed up, because it's like when you're just trying to binge 24 episodes of building arc, you're just like, bruh,
Bro.
give me something good. And that's how I've been feeling about Vinland Saga.
And even though I don't remember every small, there's some like, whenever you catch up to Attack on Titan, this past season,
Mm-hmm.
they've showed you so much information that's in these first 2 seasons that you're gonna overlook. That you're like, this was big information,
And it just kind of like passed by it.
and that's why like a lot of people, a lot of One Piece fans regard the author as one of the best
because of the amount of foreshadowing that's on there.
Yes, but in my opinion, like, you can't. It's hard to say someone has foreshadowing when they never ended the story. This story's been basically written already. Like, you know the end. So, like, for him to envision his story and then have things come full circle is crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information that you're like, wow. We're not even talking about the action, the characters, the themes. We're talking about just information that's given in front of you and how it's all intertwines. And it's just like, you've seen this in the very beginning, but it's just like, for those moments that you're struggling to watch, some of those small details
They're key points.
Exactly. So I think that's what's super dope about Attack on Titan.
Do you think Oda is the foreshadow king?
So I've watched One Piece. We both watched up to Wano. You know what I watched. What has he shown that was foreshadowing that I might have missed? Because I skipped a lot. Because a lot of it.
Did you skip the Skypiea arc?
I don't think I skipped any arcs, but I skipped within episodes.
So like they
which
talked
one
about
was that?
Joey Boy there, and then like at the end of Skypiea, he's in the clouds, like he's shaped like Joy Boy, kind of hinting that like he is Joy Boy. Things like that, bro. So like, at the end of the arc, like you see the people on the ground, you see Luffy kind of doing the same thing that's like written in the ancient whatever, where like it's like he's shown the same way as they describe Joy Boy and his like kind of like poneglyph type of thing, hieroglyphs.
Yeah.
And then it's like now we're finding out years later like he is Joy Boy. So it's like things like that where you're just like it was a little thing, and then even like the cover stories, it's its own story that still plays onto the show. So it's pretty. I mean, it's a lot of foreshadowing.
I see what you're saying because there's a lot. You're just saying basically it's been a reference and then it actually happens type thing.
Yeah,
Right?
and then like the beginning, like very beginning when they first meet Blackbeard in One Piece. Sorry, we're getting off track. I'm just trying to get it off. But they talk about how like they're talking about Blackbeard, and Nami's like, oh, who was that guy? And Luffy and Zoro way in the beginning before time, like this is like season 2 type, like right in the beginning, they're like, oh, it's not he, and she's like, if it's not he, then what is it? And then Zoro's like, probably they. So then it starts hinting at how he can have 2 devil fruits, maybe 3, because of his devil fruit. They were sensing another presence inside of him. So it's just crazy things like that where it's like from the get-go. So that's one of those things that makes One Piece special, because it's the same way. It's tying it back. And Sky Peel arc, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was kind of boring except for the fight with Enel. But the things that they were revealing there, I had to go back and rewatch because I was like, I missed all of this, and I just thought they were saying it in passing, and it ends up being something bigger than what it actually was. So I see it from that aspect, but I don't know what it was. But when I guess you're right. When I come off that high of like, man, this is a good anime. Vinland Saga season 1 was just dope, and then you're getting this. I'm like, where's my Thorfinn at?
Yeah, because you
That's not my
you just
Thorfinn.
ran through a lot of.
I've crashed that thing. I crashed Vinland Saga in about a week. 24 episodes.
There's a lot of good action. Obviously, there's some dialogue there, but there's a lot of just good things. Things that are gonna keep your attention span versus now. It's a lot of building blocks, and it's a lot slower. So it's harder. And I see why it's harder for you to like appreciate it the same because you just came off a super high immediately into this versus like I've been years, so time's passed. I forgot some things, but I'm just happy it's here.
Yeah, you got a second season. Yeah.
Versus
You're
you're
enjoying
like,
the
you're just
ride.
like, this is it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's understandable. I get it. I mean, it's still like we're getting good development, and to your point, we might start seeing things, and they may talk about things that, if there is a Vinland Saga 3, 4, 5, 6, that will be like, we're out here hating on season 2, and it's tying those pieces together. So it's definitely possible, but just
It's just
yeah, I need to watch it without expectations, because when I do, I feel like I have a better time than when I'm expecting season 1 to be like season 2.
Yeah.
I gotta treat it like a different anime almost.
And I think I don't think there's a ton of foreshadowing that we're gonna be seeing. I don't think, but I do know so far this is just they're building Thorfinn's character because like
For
he's
sure.
missing a big part of his life. Again, all he's known is killing people, and like we see in this episode, he's like, what do we plant in the winter? And Einar is like, Weed,
Like what?
dumb?
What you think, bro?
Have you been on a farm before?
No.
And so that's just like it's just showcasing how much development he's missed because all he knows, all
Is
living
war,
was just
basically.
war and killing people. He's not
That's
known
fair.
anything else. So I think this is why Farmland Saga is just gonna build him as a person. So and which ultimately is gonna change him because like we spoke on when he was younger, he had that moment where he got those people who helped him. They ended up dying. And
More
it's
like a
his fault.
Humanity type of thing where
So he's learning about the missing not only the things he's missing, but also the fact that what is the purpose of his life? What is his purpose? He doesn't know. 'Cause
Mhm.
he's never had nothing before. Like he's stated, everything that's happened to me has been terrible. I can't think of anything good that's happened to him.
So do you think he's choosing to be a slave? Because I'm like, this guy could just rip through. The only one who would maybe give him trouble, maybe, would be Snake.
Yeah, but he could have got out of there before he even got there. Probably.
That's where I'm like, because Einar's like, oh, we're gonna work really hard and get out of here, and he's like, all right, bet. And I'm like, you could just leave, bro. Nobody's gonna stop you. Like, if they try. So I don't know. Maybe it is just him trying something different, or maybe he's just so tired of fighting. That he's just like, I'm exhausted.
It's forced to give him purpose. I think that's what it is. We don't know what turned him into the state, to get here. We're still missing that. But I think him, unfortunately, being a slave is just giving him purpose because he didn't have anything else to do or whatever. However, he separated from the group, he not only separated from the group, he lost himself because the
Hmm.
group was all he knew. So,
Yeah.
think about that. You got a kid who's basically been a killer and only known war. He's no longer in war. What is he to do? Like, the guy didn't even know, again, the simple things, farm. Like, and think about that. He doesn't know how to farm, right? And he's just been cutting down trees, but they're supposed to be farming and harvesting things to
Hmm.
get his future or his freedom. How long has he been there? He's been just basically cutting logs the whole time.
Because he didn't know
He's a
how to do anything else.
exactly. He's a glorified lumberjack. So, like, I think that is a good part. I just hopefully they tie this all in, and I think they will. Just based on the first season, like, if you can encapsulate a first season as good as I thought
Mhm.
it was, bringing his character and then bringing him back into the fold as his newfound self is not going to be a hard task.
I can see it. I can see it. I'm just, it's hard and I guess for me, it's hard to like do these reviews when you're not getting that action. Like when
You
we
don't-
did,
yeah, we've
yeah,
seen him
like
do
when we
a
did
swap.
Chainsaw Man, it's season 1. So I feel like when you have an anime that has a season 1, there's an expectation.
Yeah.
So they have to meet our expectations. So here we're reviewing, and it's like, and that's why I kind of like that we're talking about these things, even though it's the anime review of episode 6, where it's more broad because we could sit here and talk about, what actually happened in the episode.
Mhm.
But I think what we want to know is bigger than that. It's like, hey, they got a horse. They, were able to succeed with the horse. They found out about
Yeah, he's the
the old man is his dad.
Yes.
So it's like those are the things that are cool. But like,
And they showed him already. Remember when Snake left to go save Thorfinn and Einar? That was the same grandpa.
oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because that's where Snake was like, "Where's our food?" That's why the whole thing about the food. He's like,
Oh,
"You cooking?" He's like, "No, if you come out here and work, I'll make some food." He was like, "Nah, I'm good," and he left. Right, and it's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the same dynamic, and it was kind of cool to see their relationship too.
that was one key point that I enjoyed. I enjoyed the way that the grandpa was like treating them, and then like even Snake was like, "Y'all ain't eat yet. Like let's eat." So I mean, there's some interesting points there, and I think once I stop thinking of it as Vinland Saga season 2, give me more action, I'll enjoy it more. But like you said, it's just
And speaking of that, I feel like I know what kind of the next arc is gonna be. So based on what we know, what we've seen, I think what's gonna end up happening, and Snake kind of alluded to this in the episode when the king was talking to his father, or not the king. Wow, the 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 ranch owner's father, the son was talking to him about, or Snake was talking to the grandpa basically about how unsafe this place is. Like, it would only take a few men to kind of run.
yeah.
I think attack's gonna happen, and that's what's gonna bring Thorfinn and Einar
But
together.
well, remember they were talking about how only thieves show up because technically the king of that land
Protects
them.
I think
Unless they try to like betray him, like yo,
I think something's gonna happen.
Yeah, that would be a good point.
I think that's gonna be the breaking point where Thorfinn he's taken all his developments from the farmland, but
Mhm.
understands, I gotta protect. Man, I don't know if he's gonna necessarily take the need to protect the farmland, but at least Einar's probably gonna get in some type of
Mhm.
trouble, and he's gonna have to revert to some of that, his
old
past.
or
Yes,
old
exactly.
Thorfinn.
And
Do you think that like, so we see where like Einar's rubbing off on Thorfinn, where he's teaching him? You think it's gonna end up being the same, where like Einar kind of gets that like learns how to
Toughness.
fight and toughness?
I think. Well, he's always wanted it. He just didn't know how
He
to
was
get it
not
right.
strong,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
he was strong. He just wasn't strong-willed or strong-minded.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
when
yeah.
things came to it's time to act,
He broke.
was froze.
That man
But, like,
folded.
But that's how the dynamics work. You see Thorfinn, he's kind of just like walking through life. He just didn't really know. Whereas Einar knows these things when it comes to the farmland.
Mhm.
But when you look at the other foot, when shit got real, he froze versus Thorfinn's like, all right, just kill
Yeah,
me.
let's run this. Yeah.
Like, what's next? So you're seeing the yin and the yang when it comes to
Mhm.
those aspects. One guy's lived this life, one lives this one. Let's switch
Mhm.
it around and see how they grow. So I think he, at first in the beginning, he'll probably still be weak. He'll try things, but maybe fail, or he'll at least watch and observe how Thorfinn or Snake or any of those guys handle
Start
it,
picking
and,
it up
and
sort of
exactly,
playing. That'd
and
be cool.
develops it because
Like I said, if there's a benefit to this, even if we have to wait till season 3, if we get something where it's like, hey, this was a setup season and either the back half or the next season is just absolutely cold, I'll reflect and be like, you know what, I should have been complaining so much. But to this moment, it's just
I
like,
don't even think it's gonna take the season 3. Well, if they
you think it's gonna
find
be back half?
Yeah, it'll be the second half. I think this first core, and I think it's going straight through. I don't think we have to wait.
No breaks.
No breaks. Hopefully not. All gas, no breaks.
So,
Um,
so then we're looking at what winter for
No,
the
no,
back half. You think?
wait,
it's
is it?
going-
Oh yeah, you're right. You're
'Cause
right.
We're running 24 episodes.
Yeah,
They're
you're
about
right.
six on about 6 or 7 weeks.
Well, it's 52 weeks though. We wouldn't get to December. Am I tripping? Yeah.
Well, if they break it though,
Oh nah, they're not breaking it.
you know they're gonna break half.
No.
Like a
Nah, I think they're gonna.
winter,
I think,
spring, summer.
I think they're going straight through. If they do break it,
Interesting.
which is cool, I'm not tripping. That'll give us an opportunity to cover like another
Something
show.
different, yeah.
But I think they're gonna run it through. I think what's gonna happen is at the midpoint we're gonna have some type of attack.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna bring us into, they probably earn their freedom or something by defending the farm, and then somehow they end up either fighting with or against his people, his original group that he was with.
That'd be interesting.
So, and then it's just like he's gonna have those inner conflicts. He's fighting for what he believes is right, but against the people he's been around his whole life.
So that'd be good. Hey man, I think he's a writer for Vinland Saga.
See me. That's all I'm saying, man. I don't know how good I could be when it comes to like creating my own.
So my thing is, don't get your expectations too high because you're gonna have all these ideas, and that's what I do with One Piece. I have all these ideas in my head. I'm like, and then I read all the theories, and then you're like, it's not what I thought it was. So, either you need to get a job at at Crunchyroll or wherever. Or what is it? Who's
studio?
Who's it doing it?
Like you talking about like the studio that does
Production
Vinland?
company. Yeah.
I don't know who does this. I think it's Mappa.
I thought it was Mappa too.
So but yeah.
Should I go get an internship?
Hey man, listen, I have ideas. I don't know if I could actually formulate a story and bring it all together like some of these great showrunners can. But I'm at least good at like analyzing what I see in front of me and kind of predicting
Where it could go.
I don't always think about it this way. Like I'm try to like break down what I think is gonna happen. But sometimes I guess we've watched so many different animes.
Yeah.
We kind of can kind of like come with our own predictions. So like when I was watching the Slime and we talked about, I told you what I thought was gonna happen. It happened, and then it even made it worse because like again, they made life basically meaningless in that movie, and I was just like, all right, guys, let's gather the Dragon Balls. Was wishing back to was wishing. That
was a one-time thing, bro.
So
a one-time thing. But no, I mean I get it. It's also fun though, like to just kind of see if you're right or wrong, and that's why, like, in my head, I'm like, all right, I'm already calling it. Even in the middle of a, like, new anime, I was like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And, whether you're right or wrong, it's just kind of a fun thing to do and kind of be a part of the community. Facts.
I definitely enjoy it, and it always makes it better when things are kind of leading one way and they're able to throw you off without, like, doing something crazy outlandish. And that's why I'm really waiting for you to catch up to Inspectory, because I think episode 4 or 5 they delve into that. So they go into a what if thing, and it's so they break it down so well that it could go either way. Like this is
season 2?
This is you're telling your story and it sounds good, but let me show you how it could be interpreted this way. And it just everything plays out so well. It's like, man, you have to I don't know how much you got to plan, but you definitely have to plan to present this information to an audience that's watching the show to be able to get them to believe, all right, this is what we've seen on his end that happened, but this is what she's saying that could have happened off camera, quote unquote.
Yeah. And
it's so tightly knit and well spoken. You're like, oh shit, did this happen? And they kind of gave you that pause and like, this is where he makes the villain face? Like that's how good it gets. And that's when you watch it.
They touched on that in season 1 a little bit when she was talking to like Snake Spirit, where she was like filling in the blanks, and then like the way she was able to like articulate it and answer the snake's questions, and then he was like, man, how'd you figure that out? She's like, made half of that up, bro. But like she was able to like articulate it where it's like, I believed it, and I was like, that makes so much sense. So getting to see more of that, and that's what kind of drew me into the show, because I'm not very big on like the mind, like
like the mind theatrics.
Yeah, so it's more of a thinking anime.
And I mean
it was. I mean, I'm almost done with season 1, so I'm definitely gonna catch up to season 2, and then we can talk about it as it's progressing.
And that's why I say, like, when you get animes like this, that's what makes them kind of stand alone, because they're not leaning on action. There's a little bit of action, but it's a
lot more.
very much mental anime where you're doing some self deduction and like trying to break things down. So
Sure.
let me get back to Vinland, because we went off too much on this.
We're going on tangents
Vinland
over here,
Saga
bro.
Recap / you know what I'm saying?
//
But again, I think going back to Vinland, we'll probably get Farmland Saga for
6
maybe
more
at 2.
episodes.
Nah, I think a couple more episodes. Because I think somewhere I want to say by episode 13, we'll have whatever arc that's kind of gonna bring Thorfinn back, or something's gonna
So
happen.
you say
to
we
the
have a couple
Farmland.
more big fight scene, boom, that's like mid-season finale, and then move on to that
Well,
the actual
how
arc?
they get Thorfinn and the group, because I think they kind of showed in the preview Snake, Thorfinn,
Mhm.
Einar, and I think the son, the original son from the farmland owner, one who was almost got Einar and Thorfinn killed,
The coward
are gonna be together, fighting at some point.
squad. That'd be pretty cool. I'll see that.
So I think, however it comes to fruition, I think it's gonna be an invasion they have to defend, and they gotta be. I don't even think they're gonna earn their freedom necessarily. I think a lot of people are gonna get killed, and they're just gonna get it.
Where else do we go, bro?
Like, all right, man,
This is
you
it.
ain't got a master no more somewhere, so you wanna run with us, man? We're going, down the street.
We're going south.
Getting some of this milk real quick. I'll be right back. But I think that's what's gonna end up happening in the show. Something of that nature is gonna
can see
either
that.
free them or compel them to be freed, and then we'll get out of Farmland Saga.
Get on to the next arc.
Yeah.
I'm praying you're right.
Yeah, I'm hoping too, because I don't know if I can do. If they string this along for 13 episodes, like, am I happy they're doing this? No. Am I mad? No. It's building, but if they do string this along for 13 plus episodes, they better
Knock it out the park in the back half.
bro. Because like I've seen anime that just really again focus on the mental theatrics and stuff like that. If you think which it can be done, and I watch those. I just mentioned and
Inspector.
we're catching up to Inspector for that reason, but. This anime has not been that type of show.
Yeah.
So, and in the first 6 episodes, they really haven't gone that way. It's just been more of Thorfinn's development.
Character development, yeah.
So,
And Einar too, a little bit.
yeah. It'll be interesting to see where this takes us. Again, hopefully it's sooner than later.
Sir, hopefully.
Yeah, but all right, guys. Thanks. Appreciate you for hanging out. I know we're on a lot of different shows, but it all kind of makes sense.
Tangents.
We definitely went on tangents, but I think we just had some good conversation, and it was worth. I think it ties into Vinland Saga at certain points, and yeah, I'm looking forward again to finishing this out. Really enjoy the show, and I'm ready for the next episode. Honestly,
Yes, sir. We'll see what happens.
well, all right, guys. Let us know in the comments, man. Is it subs?
Or is it dubs?
Peace.
Later.